You are a slave, and you don't even realize it. For decades, they've been robbing you blind, funneling your hard-earned money through a system designed to keep you dependent.
Yes, he is speaking the truth. When you take a look at this article recently put out by the New York Post, acting head of Social Security Administration resigns after dispute with Elon Musk, DOGE. When you take a look at this, Michelle King step aside from ASA why Dodge finds billions of dollars in ways that then parade around in the street, calling Musk and Trump dictators while trying to distract us from the grief that we are uncovering epic failure of taxpayers' money. On this clip, we have a lot of things to look into. I'm going to make it short. I don't know if you've seen this. Before we go into other clips, first take a look at this.
You are a slave, and you don't even realize it. For decades, they've been robbing you blind, funneling your hard-earned money through a system designed to keep you dependent. A system where the rich get richer and you just get enough to survive, but never enough to be free. That's about to change. Trump just announced something that should have every single tax-paying American paying attention. $2 trillion in misappropriated funds have been uncovered by the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. You want to know where your money has been going? Not to you. Now, here's the kicker. 20% of that is being given back as a dividend to the American people, not a stimulus check, a dividend. That means that this was your money all along and it was stolen from you. And now it's being returned. That averages out to about $5,000 per taxpayer. Now, there are families out there that are struggling just to cover the basic necessities, and this could be the break that they desperately need. And they're firing 6,000 IRS agents as well. The excessive baggage, bureaucratic leeches just sucking your wealth dry. The next stop, that missing $100 billion that we sent over to Ukraine, it just so happened to vanish under the Biden and Harris administration. We sent over $170 billion over there. Ukraine only got $70 billion of that. Where's the other $100 billion? Where did it go? This doesn't just matter for you, but it matters for the economy, for national security, and for your future. You see, that $5,000 isn't welfare. It's restitution. It's money that never should have been taken in the first place. This could mean rent for struggling families, groceries, medical bills, life-changing relief without increasing government dependency. When people have more of their own money, they spend, they invest, they grow businesses. Instead of printing money out of thin air and fueling inflation, this move actually injects real capital back into the economy. A dividend payout and national debt reduction all in the same move? That's a restructuring of fiscal power. It forces the government to be more accountable and less reliant on debt-based monetary policies. This is going to shift the influence away from the central banks and back towards economic productivity, real wealth creation. Meanwhile, the people still defending Biden and Harris, they're about to get their illusions shattered when the books get opened and we find out where that $100 billion really went to. So tell me, are you still defending the people who stole from you? Or are you finally ready to wake up?
We are not in the business of giving out money. And honestly, I don't know what $5,000 will do for you.
There is a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse in the federal government, though.
I'm not going to say that there's a lot. I'm going to say that it does exist. The fact that I'm rooting for Canada and I'm rooting for Mexico a lot is really wild. But they are really the ones that are speaking truth to power right now. They can see what it is. And they were like, we are not messing with this crazy regime from Mar-a-Lago, and basically calling them thugs.
Jasmine Crockett, bring your goofy ass up here, because you got the nerve to go on TV and say that the United States is not in the business of handing out money, but the USID was handing out money nonstop. It's okay when y'all do it, but when Trump do it, it's a problem.
Saying someone who pushed for reparations for so long, when I take a look at what she said at the end, like, what will $5,000 do to you is concerning. Why this same lady didn't ask Biden what would 750 do to the people of Maui and even the people of California we saw recently. 5,000 will not do anything. It is crazy. These Democrats are falling into this trap Trump is putting out. They are falling into it, but they don't even realize. I don't know. I never thought that would be a topic of discussion, but I'm going to show you the trap at the end of this video. So you can see exactly where Trump is putting these people. They don't even know what is going on. This lady claimed to be intelligent. I've watched her for some time now. She is always barking like a dog in every single time. It is high time to teach some of these people a lesson.
They're also exhausted, by the way,
Oh, they
because we
must
are
be.
doing so much.
And not even in a wussy, sad little
Yeah.
way. Like, they must be exhausted because it's just it's nonstop.
It's insane. I did have a bit of a tiff this morning outside with our friend Peter Alexander
saw it.
at NBC News. So
It was great. We'll drop in a clip
yeah.
of it where he was really pressing you on whether there's going to be criminal prosecutions for this alleged fraud and the waste, fraud, and abuse.
According to an IG report from the Social Security Administration, there was $71 billion worth of fraud in one single fiscal year that we know about. And so that is a lot of fraud, Peter.
To be clear, that $71 billion was from 2015 to 2022, so it wasn't in just 1 year. And it was
$71 billion.
But it wasn't in 1 year, just over multiple years from 2015 to 2022.
So are you defending $71 billion in fraud, Peter? That's a lot of money. Why is the media so against cutting waste, fraud, and abuse from the government? I don't get it.
I just want to ask a question.
We won't be deterred. We will not be deterred from people like you and the press.
You said something that wasn't true, which is you said that they have found before that they believe there have been tens of millions of people who were receiving money who are dead on the Social Security list. The same report that you referred to said that almost none of those individuals are receiving
Peter, did you watch the full clip of the interview that I did when I said that? And I said there are a lot of unanswered questions, and we suspect there could be tens of millions of people.
I'm saying the IG report
so you just said what I said is not true. In fact, it was true. That's a suspicion that this administration has, and we're committed to finding out the truth. It perplexes me and also infuriates me why the media continues to make excuses for our government spending billions and billions of dollars in wasteful money.
Right.
Maybe they don't mind, but I know there's millions of people watching that do mind. So we're going to keep doing what we're doing with DOGE.
It was a pretty incredible exchange where it was like $71 billion has been spent on fraudulent payments, and he's like, "Oh, but that was over many years." Well,
does it matter?
Like, hello,
there's one report that showed $71 billion. What are you talking about?
Eyes on the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
Credit, but I got to tell you the truth. The credit goes to President Trump. DOGE, this savings would not be possible without his leadership. We put it to paper, but President Trump is going to be the one to execute it, and he deserves the credit for it.
But I'd have to think through it a lot. One of the things that they propose is black folk not have to pay taxes for a certain amount of time, because then again, that puts money back in your pocket. But at the same time, it may not be as objectionable to some people about actually giving out dollars. But obviously then you start dealing with the different tax brackets and things like that. And that's one of the reasons that, we argue the reparations make sense, because so many black folk, not only do you owe for the labor that was stolen and killed and all the other things, right? But the fact is, like, we end up being so far behind, right? And so it's like, how do you bring forth people? Exactly.
Someone wrote, for those confused about the trap, DOGE is already popular among Americans. If people start getting a DOGE dividend, it's going to get even more popular, and every politician who opposes it is going to look horrible. Apparently, not realizing this, Crockett goes on national TV and not only say she doesn't support it, but say she doesn't think 5,000 will do anything for the normal American. This same lady, when you take a look back at her videos, you can see clearly how she pushed for reparations. I saw it. Taking a look at this, someone wrote 5,000, almost 10x the money they gave the people in the areas affected in Maui, North Carolina, and California. I'm sure they appreciate the money. They appreciate that money, probably not enough, but still helpful. Separately, I assume many people will argue it will help. It also flat out awesome. Another person. When will a Democrat realize that the American people are done with waste, fraud, and abuse in the government? Instead of pushing division, they need to turn off the 3DS and EDS and start focusing on priorities that actually help the people. 5,000 might not change everything for her, but for many struggling families, it is a game changer. Wake up. That is the truth. When I look at a lady like this ranting, it is because they realize like a lot of people like what Trump is doing. Now let's discredit it like this is nonsense. This is what they're doing, nothing else. Right? It's crazy when I see Democrat doing this. Thank you guys who has been there sharing out my videos. God bless you abundantly. If you see clips after my videos, that is just for the algorithm. I make sure to always put it helps the channel.
Whiplash.
The mainstream media cannot ever say that anything this administration is doing is positive. So even if they find unbelievable corruption,
was digging through essentially the way that money is audited within the government, links to payments, outgoing payments, budget line items. So this payment goes out. What is it for?
What I've learned from this is that if you are not guilty of anything, you will not panic.
Thug, who is the president of the United States, U.S., it's everywhere.
There is a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse within a system.
Audits.
a chance to see what happens.
He does not treat the U.S. fairly on trade and that he has some big complaints. Is that true?
Right? And it doesn't mean that we should sit and pretend that it's suddenly okay, that this new presidency is just going to keep on keeping on. That is not the case. And
awful things have happened. And sparks move things. And it doesn't matter how much water you have.
Future president and his gag are
somebody in policy.
The city of the Pacific Palisades is burning. And, I flew here last night. I was on a plane.
You getting water to areas that need...
He's been trained his whole life to do.
What do we do?
All right, right now you're looking straight. Remember it.
As a country about and then I think all our tax dollars probably went for Gavin's hair gel. I don't know.
Jim Jordan.
Josh Green, the governor. Watch the news or talk.
Now look, I have a lot of...
The Democratic Party has about everything.
The next department that appears to be on the chopping block is the Department of Education. Just earlier today...
Thank you. Hey, now speaking of church, can I...
In common, they're all terrified of Ronan Farrow.
Is probably one of the most unintelligent billionaires.
They're on Team Chiefs. Literally right next to us was Taylor Swift. Those are food.
So Trump has been in power for just a month.
Tyranny is rising in the White House.